Hello friends and fellow Mavericks. I'm Teddy LaRose at Food Mavericks 1000. We have a very special idea for today. I was putting the finishing touches on our course, Food Adventures, and we found that one video was glitching. Oh no! So we're putting this in. This is going to be a marbled pound cake. So course team, we're sharing with the whole team here today, at least partially, and so some of you will get more of the backstage, and another video on the course will do more of the backstage. That's what we're doing today. First things first, we want to preheat the oven to 350. What I'm taking out of the oven right there is a bread proofing, because this fancy oven has a bread proofing proof. Okay, it just got started, but it's our classic dough that we do for pizzas and cinnamon dough rolls and things like that. Okay, so I got a gift because we're finishing the course, and it is a sheet pan. In fact, I got a set, and this is the middle size. They're glorious, heavy stainless steel. It's a chef toy. So I'm going to make a cake, and I think some of our local Mavericks might get to try this cake. We'll see how it turns out. Marble pound cake. I pre-mixed some of the stuff so we wouldn't have to take a lot of time on screen there. We've got the flour, the dry part of it. This is a classic way to make cakes. Dry, wet, mix them together, put it in. This is flour and salt and baking powder. That's all there is, and whisked it together. And then we've got butter and sugar in here. Now sometimes for a cake they'll do some, and cookies, you'll cream them. It'll look fluffy, but in this case it's just mix it till it looks sandy, and I think that's an appropriate thing. Looks sandy to me, yes? Butter and sugar. Now we're going to add eggs to it. This is part of an egg that I had left, and I don't think there's any harm in adding that to this. Even though it'll be a little heavy on the egg, that should be fine. And they suggested adding one at a time. As usual, being a Maverick, I almost never stay with what everyone tells me to do. But as you can see, it is whisking in nicely here. Can you see it on the screen there? And you can see it's sort of fluffy and a beautiful color there. One at a time usually makes it easier to get it fluffy, I think. We're doing one at a time. You'll notice certain things that I do sort of naturally, having cooked for, 50 or 100 people, which is you try and be as efficient as possible, because guess who's going to clean up afterward? So I could throw those egg shells on the counter, but they're going to be skinchy and minchy, and so I'm throwing them there to take care of them later, and it's faster later. Also, if I have these were out in a bowl instead of directly out of a fridge, because with cakes and things like cakes, pancakes and waffles, etc., it's often recommended that you have everything at approximately the same temperature, room temperature, and it seems to be true. I've found it to be a bit flexible, but with cakes that are sort of more of a chemical reaction, I think that the difference in temperature to get a certain kind of fluffiness is probably relevant here. Okay, now this particular recipe calls for vanilla in an aspect of it, and that's never a problem around here, and this is very nice vanilla. We're going to put a teaspoon of that in there. And now this particular recipe that I'm taking off from here in a typical way called for sour cream in the cake, which would give I've had that, it's really nice. But I didn't have any sour cream, and I forgot to get it at the store, and oh no, have you ever had the problem? Oh no, I forgot it. This usually gives rise to a great deal of creativity. You can have the oh no, I can't do it, or you can have the oh no, I think it's going to work out fine. I did have cream cheese, and a lot of people seem to think that'll work fine. Naturally, as everyone knows, the texture of cream cheese is different from the texture of sour cream. But it's also not just like straight milk. Some people might replace with buttermilk, which the sour element being there. I'm replacing it with some cream cheese and water mixed together. It's fluffy, as you can see, because I whisked it together earlier. I'm just adding a little more water to make sure I've got the right amount of liquid in here. Now the fact is I did add an extra egg. About 3/4 of an egg I used it for wash. And so this is a little less than a cup, which is what they're calling for. And so we're going to put it in here with the other liquidy ingredients. Now most people know this stuff. And you see, we're just getting, do it well mixed. Okay. Dry stuff, wet stuff, dumped together, easy to eat. I'm going to get my famous spatula, which I have it over here doing something else, but I can't live without this thing. This is the chocolate part of the marble. We'll see in a minute what I mean. So, this, we don't want the chocolate in this part. Hence I'm rinsing it off, otherwise I wouldn't mind. Now, you want these to be mixed well, but not beaten too much. So it's not going to be sort of like your barely mixed ones. It's also not going to be overly mixed. It smells fabulous. It's kind of a magical golden color. It's looking very good as far as like texture goes. See, you want it to be mixed enough. You don't want the flour to be too obvious, but you don't have to have it not be lumpy. This is my experience. Now, I could go rinse this again, right? But in name of efficiency, since this is also going to be in the cake, we're going to put it right there and not a problem. Now, this is a fun bit. I've not tried this before. You take your little 1/4 cup measure and you dollop randomly. This is what I love the person who made this recipe. Dollop randomly on the sheet by the 1/4 cup. So you'll notice me dolloping sort of randomly here. In other words, leave spaces. You can see it's kind of a liquidy dough. We may have made it a little more liquidy than as per that recipe, but it really ought to work. Looks good to me. Now, what about that? It's kind of all minging together. Not a problem. We won't worry about that. We will, however, put the chocolate part in here. This is a simple butter and chocolate powder. It's a high-end chocolate powder. I've really found that as far as like ingredients go, you can really tell in the finished product, I can really tell in the finished product, the kind of quality of certain things like vanilla or chocolate. So I go for the best I can get at the time with the budget I have. Okay. Now see, you want it to be the chocolate bit, so you just go ahead and fold that in there like so. This is fast folding. You see it folding, yeah? Okay, now we might need this again. I know we need this again. So now we're going to do the chocolate dollop. As you can see, that's sort of gotten all over the place. It's the texture partly, but this one's thicker. Why? Because chocolate makes it thicker. We'll be fine. Right, we're just kind of randomly, approximately a 1/4 cup, just to sort of get it not all in one place, you'll notice here. Smells good. That means your oven's fired up. Do remember in advance, because you're really going to want this to go in at the right moment. Okay. Now it looks like we have more chocolate. I didn't quite do a 50-50 thing on this. So we've got, it's going to be a more chocolatey thing. Now, when I was younger, as a child, this part could be difficult because I don't have a lot of patience. Let it be not too mixed. You can take a knife, but this is a brand new, shiny stainless steel pan that I don't want to scratch, so I'm using the nice silicone spatula. And one thing, you just want to be sure to get it out to the edges, but notice, see, I'm just doing like so. And that's going to be plenty. It'll do some natural on-site mixing in the oven. There we go. See, just gotta be sure it's on the, out to the end. And I sprayed that with that nice spray stuff. Okay, we're putting it in for 25 minutes, and we'll tell you how it went. Thank you for coming on by.